Hello everybody, this is Tony back with you on another edition of Tony's Topics. Hey, I'm going to talk to you a little bit today. I'm on vacation in Hawaii, but I thought I'd drop a real quick video on my very first DOT inspection that happened in Utah, in St. George. And I want to let you know what they said about my personal conveyance. All right, let's get to it. Good morning, everybody. This is Tony back with, I have changed my channel name from Tony's Topics to Trucking Topics to better reflect what I've decided to do with this channel. I'm back with you to talk to you about my very first DOT inspection. It happened probably about 5 weeks ago. I'm just not getting around to dropping a video on it. But I was stopped in St. George, Utah. Bobtailed. I was going north out of Arizona. And I kind of been getting the sense for the past couple of weeks that I was going to get pulled in. Because I was getting a lot more red lights. So this must have been a slow day for the DOT guy there on duty, so he pulled me in tractor only, performed a level 1 inspection. Excuse me. I did pass the inspection, but he really looked at my logs really close. And for those of you who don't know who are new entrants, such as myself, my authority was granted on April 27, 2019. You will have to get 3, 4, 5 inspections done in order to get a CSA rating. So even though I passed this particular level 1, I still don't have a rating. I need 2 or 3 more, or whatever the algorithm is, even though it was 100%. So expect to get pulled in your first 6 months 2 or 3 times. It just depends on how busy they are. And they see on their computer that, you haven't been inspected and so forth. And that's what this guy said. He says, your tractor hasn't been inspected since you got your authority. And I said, yeah, I know. I'm actually glad to be here to get this done. So the inspection, everything was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary on the safety inspection part. He didn't flag anything or tell me anything was close. I'm just trying to see if anything was out. He had me, this is the first time this has happened since 2005 when I first started driving. He had me do the windshield wipers, but he also had me pull the fluid. The windshield wiper fluid. He wanted to see fluid coming out. So luckily I keep that full most of the time, so that wasn't an issue. But that was the first time that happened, so I wanted to bring that up. Other than that, everything else was unremarkable. Nothing else caught my attention there. But we did go inside. He had me email him my logs. I use OmniTrax. So it was a very simple process for me to just punch in his email address and he had them right away. I happen to know that there were some questionable things on my logs. Not horrible, but some questionable things on my logs that he didn't even really look at. He really zeroed in, you guys, on personal conveyance. And this is where new entrants are getting into trouble with personal conveyance. The one thing he told me, and listen, I'm not arguing with these people, okay? It doesn't help you to argue with them, all right? He's not writing me a ticket, so I'm just taking his information and filing it. But this is the huge takeaway I got. I was actually on personal conveyance when he pulled me into the bay. Actually, I pointed that out to him and he says, oh, you were? So maybe he wasn't looking that close to my logs. Anyway, I was on personal conveyance from Vegas up to Cedar City, Utah, because that's my domicile. And he asked me where I was going, I said I'm going home to Utah, to Cedar City, which was 60 miles up the road. Told him I was personal conveying from Vegas. And he said, what do you have planned after you go home? And I said, well, I'll either pick up a load. I said I'll probably pick up a load in Salt Lake. And then he looked up at me. I don't know why he was looking up at me. I know now, I'll tell you. And then I said, or I'll probably go down to Vegas. And here's the takeaway for the whole video. He said, I'm glad you said Vegas. I said, why is that? He said, because if you had said you were going to Salt Lake to get a load, then I was going to give you a violation on your 70 hours. And I said, well, why is that? And he says, because you're moving towards a load. And I said, well, yeah, I am moving towards a load, but I'm going home and I'm taking 72 hours off, taking 34 hours off, and then I'm going to go back to work. He says, yeah, but after your home time, if you go to Salt Lake, that means when you are here with me right now, you're moving towards that load. And I said, but I don't have a load planned. That was my defense. I said, but I don't have that load planned right now as I sit with you. I might not have that planned until day after tomorrow. And he says, it doesn't matter. You're moving towards a load if you do accept a load out of Salt Lake. He says, now if you went back to Vegas, he says, your movement today isn't helping you. He says, but when you have a personal conveyance move that is helping you get towards your destination, he says you're in violation of the personal conveyance rule. I don't know about you. I'd like your thoughts on this. You can either email me at tony@encoretrucks.com, or you can leave a comment down below. My feeling is that if I'm going home to take a 34, or even to take 10 hours off, and especially if I do not have a load booked yet, I think I'm okay. I think it's a gray area, and I think it's going to be an area where this gives DOT officers a little bit of wiggle room, and I think we're going to find different opinions about this across the country. So I'd like to know what you think about that, but I wanted to point that out to you. He didn't write me up for anything. There was one issue on my logs. He says, well, you did this and this, but I'm not going to write you for that. And I didn't say anything. I didn't admit to it, and because I didn't quite understand what he was talking about. But he mentioned it 3 times. I'm not going to write you up for it. So on the 3rd time, I thought, I just better go ahead and say thank you, sir, because it was obvious he was looking for some kind of an acknowledgement from me. Anyway, personal conveyance, people. If you want further clarification of the personal conveyance rule, email me or comment down below, because I just came from Landstar, who has a very strict personal conveyance rule, and so those kind of carried over to me, and I probably saved my ass on this audit. So yeah, man, let me know. I'm curious about what your personal conveyance conversations have gone like if you've had a level 1 inspection. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you feel that my video is helping you, and my other videos that I have lined up there for you. And yeah, we'll see you around on the next one. I'm finishing up my vacation today in Hawaii, and I'll be dropping something next week. Then I'll get back with you then, okay? All right, guys. You have a great day. Be safe.